Welcome to another bit of a lore dive right here at the Eligible Monster Gaming Lore channel. Now, I don't really want to dive deeply into the Destiny lore because, simply put, there's channels that have been doing it for years and have 4 hours of content going into the deep dives of Destiny. But since I do cover comic books on Comic Storian, and I did cover the Destiny comic books a little while ago, I thought it'd be fun to move those over here as we're starting to build up our repertoire of lore that I do want to dive into in the various comic books that your favorite video games are also covering. So today we're going to give you the Destiny comic books, which I covered a long time ago in Comic Storian, but I felt it belongs here. Also, keep in mind, I'm pretty sure these aren't in canon anymore, especially the Osiris storyline. I'm pretty sure they changed all of these, but they're still fun reads, so I hope you guys enjoy. The truth is something that eludes many, especially those who blindly listen rather than see for themselves. Right now, there is only one who knows the truth of what happened. The story is going to begin and end, as it always does, with him. He was the best of them, the strongest, the wisest, and he was banished for it. Osiris was a great man, and many saw him for that. He spent his time studying and researching the Vex to help keep the last city safe. He was also never one to shy away from the truth, and that is why with his latest lecture, many began to question him. His student Okora walks with him and says that what he said cannot possibly be true. The traveler's death was, and Osiris finishes that sentence stating, "A gift. The entity that we know as the Traveler created the Guardians and the Ghosts alike. It gave them the power to protect themselves. But it was also the one that brought these threats to our shores. The Traveler is the reason for the Vex, and it now threatens everything that we hold dear. If the people want to know who's responsible for the deaths of billions, there's your answer." Soon word began to spread, and Osiris' teachings became gospel, and it turned him into a bit of a celebrity. But it was not what Osiris wanted. He just wanted to be left to his research. And as those in power started to question, one of Osiris' dear friends, Saint 14, had to hear it firsthand. The two met in the open field because when one speaks with a Titan, there is usually property damage that follows. Before the two could clash, the warlock Osiris and the Titan Saint 14, there is one thing that Saint 14 says that sticks out in Osiris' mind. Father is concerned. Osiris throws the first punch, stating that he can't believe that they would refer to the speaker as Father. Saint 14 punches back, telling him that the speaker is the voice of the Traveler, and when he speaks, we all listen. Osiris stops shouting, "Everyone obeying one man isn't a civilization, it is a dictatorship. There must be room for dissent, for skepticism, for research. What would you have me do then? Abandon my duties? Hand the world and everyone in it to the Vex?" Saint 14 tells him, "I would have you stay on the path. Please, don't do this." Osiris scoffs as he turns his back, stating his path is his own. As time went on, the speaker, even the consensus, began to tell the people that Osiris' teachings are dangerous and that Osiris himself is just a madman who is obsessed. This only glorified Osiris more. People began to praise Osiris' name in the streets, claiming that his teachings were holy texts and prophecies. When his work was published, the speaker saw to it that every book was collected and burned. He swore that he would never let this heresy infect the city any longer. Strife began to plague the city as many of the Guardians started to fight amongst themselves. With chaos slowly but surely spreading, the speaker called upon all of the factions to gather so that they may discuss a way to help bring peace to their city. And the way that they do that is by removing the one that they trusted who had abandoned them, Osiris. Even now in their time of need, their great vanguard commander couldn't even be bothered to show up. The speaker pushes over Osiris' chair, asking if they're supposed to be satisfied that their fates rest in the hands of his student. When people begin to think of the great Osiris, they call him a hero, a warrior, a guardian, a scholar. But I speak for the Traveler. I know the truth. Osiris is a deserter, a coward, a traitor. As whispers fill the halls, the speaker, furious, continues to yell that they must act, for the fate of the Traveler of humanity will be decided here. Osiris is a viper, a cancer, and we must cut him out. Osiris' student Okora steps forward, asking how they speak of Osiris being a coward. Would a coward alone stand not only against the forces of darkness, but the very people that he is trying to protect? They state that Osiris has abandoned them, yet he still works. Even now, he is working to help them, even if they don't understand what it is that he is doing. He wasn't resurrected so that he could sit in his chair. He was resurrected by his ghost so that he could serve them to the best of his ability. And if Osiris says that the Vex are a threat, they should believe him. They can say all they want about Osiris, but the fact is that they won't survive without him. The speaker holds out his hand, shouting, "Your words only strengthen his resolve. Osiris has corrupted our minds. As speaker, I move that Osiris and his heresy be removed from our city." Everyone attending stands and cheers. "Throw him out! Banish him! Remove the liar!" Speaker then says that he further moves that should Osiris resist this ruling, such punishment be brought to bear on him that he... But Osiris himself stops him, telling everyone, "That will not be necessary. I will leave the city willingly." And that is exactly what he did. He tried to save them, but instead his people cast him out. Months passed, then years, then decades. No one has seen or heard from Osiris since his banishment. Nobody knows what he is doing or why. They don't even know if he is still on their side. But no matter what has happened, there is one who has the answer. And as Akora holds up his ghost, she tells him, "Please tell me, what secrets do you hold?" Next up is the story of Warmind. Across the barren wastelands of the Mars polar landmass, Guardian Anastasia sits in her tent plotting her next course of action. She is here to search for something that can help turn the tides of the fight against the Red Legion, though many have thought it to be a myth. Her comm lights up as Cameron says that there isn't much else. She will continue to dig through the Owl Sector files and look for anything that could help them. Stay warm and stay safe, and come back home soon. Anastasia steps out telling herself that she's not sure what home is anymore. Alright, Jinju, which way first? Her ghost scans the area, stating that what they found in the Braytech cache on Venus is that they see this area was terraformed by the Traveler during the Golden Age. An ice cap of this size just doesn't appear. Not naturally, at least. The comms light back up as Cameron pops up, stating that she doesn't like to conjecture, but the sheer power it would take to not only undo the work of the Traveler, but also create a polar sheet of this scale is limited to very few things in this system. The only one of them that has a connection to Clovis Braytech. Both Anastasia and Cameron state Rasputin, the Warmind. Anastasia then makes her way through the flatland and frozen soldiers, asking what happened. Jinju tells her it is unknown, but there is no record of any battle on Mars taking place at this location. Anastasia kneels down, wiping away a layer of dust showing Clovis Bray's insignia, stating that they are close to finding out what they are looking for. And just then, an ear-piercing shriek can be heard. Over the ridge, a group of Red Legion Cabals begin to set up camp, and through their own language, she hears the word Gaul. She leaps down, stabbing one of the Cabals in the head, stating that she's not sure what a Red Legion or a Gaul is, but anything in there belongs to her family. So it would be in their best interest to rethink their plans. One of the Cabals jumps into the air, shouting that she will praise Gaul's name. Praise his name, Guardian Scum. She infuses her gun with light, telling him nope, and begins to smack the hammer of her revolver. The Cabals all begin to fall dead on the ground with holes in them, and she laughs. When suddenly, there's a sound of a hound growling that can be heard. The Cabal hound lunges, knocking Anastasia to the ground, and just before she can pull the trigger, her light fades. Jinju falls, stating that connection to the light is lost. She struggles to keep the hound back, but as she moves her arms, the hound bites onto it. She shouts that this won't be the end of her, and she pulls the trigger on her sidearm right in the mouth of the hound. As night comes, Jinju heals her wounds, telling her that they haven't had any connection to the Vanguard channels in years. If they were to try and listen in now. Her comms light up, and Cameron states that she can account for the dangerous weather, thin ice, avalanches, but this part of Mars hasn't been touched in centuries. She wishes that there was more that she could do, but she will do whatever she can to make this journey a safe one. Anastasia laughs, telling her that the irony of all of this is that she kept telling her that only a Guardian could survive these types of dangers. And now she is just as frail and mortal as her. If she dies here, it's over. There's no second chances, and she would have left her for nothing. Cameron then says that she isn't a Guardian just because her ghost chose her. She is not a Bray because she woke up with that name on her badge. She is who she chooses to be, and she is the single bravest person. They were right about digging into her history. She smiles, stating, "Thank you. She can do this. She can be brave. She has to make this happen. She has to find Clovis Bray. She will find Rasputin. Next morning, she sets out on her search of the facility when a message comes in over the comm. Zavala repeats the message, Guardian, the city is lost. If there is any light left in the system, we rally on Titan. Be brave. She asks when it went out, and Jinju says that they don't know. Perhaps with everything else happening, they should go to Titan? He tells him no. One more lightless Guardian won't make a difference. If they can find Rasputin, then they could change everything. They will keep going, no matter the risk. Just then, a meteor shower passes overhead, and one of the asteroids heads straight for where Anastasia is standing. She tries to outrun it, but it crashes into the ground as she's dragged back by her cloak. She's pulled down to the icy waters as she frantically tries to pull the latch, holding the cloak around her neck. Finally, as that latch gives, she rushes to the surface, but before she can make it, everything fades to black. As she closes her eyes, she is awoken by the sound of coughing. She jumps up out of her chair to see Cameron, and Cameron tells her that this is not how she wanted them to spend their time together. Anastasia hurries over to the hospital bed, stating that she shouldn't worry about that, just breathe. She isn't going anywhere. And Cameron then says that she needs to stop blaming herself for this. So Anastasia asks which part specifically. That she nearly got killed because she was brought into this crazy quest? Or the fact that she was hurt saving someone's life while chasing another dead end? Cameron groans, telling Anastasia to shut up, but Anastasia tells her, how does any of this make sense? If you die forever. You haven't been touched by the light. How can you be so brave? That's what it means to be human, love. They adapt, they endure, and they fight. Even against death, which we both know is going to claim them all one day. They will fight, and they will find the cradle, and they will find Rasputin, because they are too close to give up now. But since she isn't able to go to Mars, it's time for some rest. Anastasia leans down, kissing her, telling her, shh, close your eyes. Everything will be all right. As Anastasia pulls away, Cameron says that she made a list of everything that they're going to need to get ready for whatever comes their way. Artificial polar climate is dangerous. So cold, so tired. So cold. Is it cold in here, Anna? And as she says that, the life support line beeps as it goes flat. Back in the current time, Anastasia chokes for air as her lungs are filled with water, and she wakes back up below the ice. She quickly begins to find her orientation and sees the meteor was actually a comm unit from space. And around it, the broken chunks of ice start to float back to the top, with Anastasia rushing over and stabbing her knife into it. The slab jets out of the water, and she gasps for air while coughing out all the water that she swallowed. After a short recovery, she heads back to the camp and puts on the old cloak that she had put away. As she drapes it, Cameron tells her that they need to hurry. Time is running out, and they need to find Rasputin. She grabs her rifle, loading it up, but Jinju says that they should probably get a move on. There's an avalanche coming their way. So she turns back, shouting, What is so damn... And that's when she realizes what is coming, and she slams her trunk close and throws it into her ship. She closes the hatch and jumps onto the ship, but that's when she hears Cameron on the comms. She kicks off the ship, grabbing the comm unit, stating that she isn't going to lose her again. Jinju tells her that they need to get inside now, and she begins to dig through the sand, telling her no, she can't. And as she is pulled underneath, Jinju starts to glow with light. It's then that Anastasia bursts out, infused with that light, and she begins to climb her way to the nearby rock. She climbs the ledge, and Jinju tells her that they have all of the recordings of Cameron backed up. They can just make a new Cameron. Anastasia says no. Cameron did what she promised. She helped get them there, and it's time to let her rest. As she stands tall, she looks forward to what her and Cameron were looking for, the cradle. And our last story is Cade 6. As Cade 6 sits down, he says that he's thinking that they aren't on the same page here, so he's going to catch them up on what went down. Just so we're eye to eye on the basic truth. A job is a job, but not all jobs are the same. There's variables, complications. Part of what I do, part of what makes me good at what I do, is that I know those variables. I know complications. Not always, not every time, but more often than not. So if you think that I'm not reading the room, that I'm not seeing all the angles, I am. A boy starts to laugh, stating that he'll need to forgive them if they have their doubts. And Cade Sid asks, "Forgive you? I expect nothing less. That's why I'm here. A job got done, and you're picky about the results. No worries though, big guy. I'm more than happy to set that record straight. Heading into Spider's Palace, one has to fit in. Ditch all the high-powered fire team guardians and aim for a less obvious first impression. Believe me, as someone who makes one hell of an impression, first and last, mind you, it's important to know your audience. Hard cases, outlaws, outcasts, cutthroats, lowlifes, and high rollers. Once you know that, then you can make your grand entrance. And that's what me and my team did. Hawthorne was a bit of a wild card, new to the city, but not new to surviving. Banshee, he knows his way around the guns. More than people know. And let's just say that we both owe each other some favors, and every now and then we scratch each other's backs. The main man, Jin, well, he's a survivor. Washed the red from his hands as he hung his guns some time back, but decided to pull them back down. Nadia is one of the scouts. Works with me more than I work for him. She's one hell of a tracker, pretty deadly in a scrap. And last but not least, there's Petra. She sticks out like a sore thumb, and a lot of bad folk got good glimmer on her head, but she insisted on tagging along. The voice then says that he can't say that he's impressed. And Cade 6 tells him, yeah, well that's the point. You see, we don't look like much. We don't want to draw the wrong attention. Until the wrong attention's what we need to get the job done, and the job's done. All targets accounted for and corralled much quicker than promised too. The voice then asks, all targets? And Cade 6 says, well, the voice then tells him, you were careless. And Cade 6 says, we can agree to disagree. The job was to hunt down the self-proclaimed barons, right? So why hunt them the hard way? We knew our first target liked to gamble. And of course, if you looked hard enough, you can find Araxes' pretty mug deep in a den of sin. Even though it's unknown who threw the bottle at her, the important thing is that one was thrown and she got pretty upset. Maybe a fight followed, maybe a brawl, but who's keeping tabs? Whatever it was, it got a little out of hand. But that's the thing. There's a method to the madness. And the voice shouts, you let the target escape! And Cade 6 says, the key word is let. Just like that, the trap was set. And there you go, the Destiny comic books. We're going to be slowly moving over a lot of the things I did on Comic Story, and while some of it I'm going to be re-recording, ones that I have more invested in, such as the Assassin's Creed Uprising comic book, we're going to be doing a fresh read on that. But I don't only want to do gaming lore comic books here. This week we're also going to be talking about what the Purge is within Assassin's Creed, and I'm already doing research on Sonic lore and Resident Evil lore. My ultimate goal is to bring you guys a weekly Assassin's Creed lore, and then probably something else as I get time to work on it. Thank you guys for coming over and staying subscribed and helping this channel stay alive for its 12 years of existence. But on that note, if you did enjoy this, consider liking, subscribing, and I'll see you next time right here at the Gaming Lore channel.